Hey, my name's Justin, and we all have questions about sex. I don't know about you, but my wife and I, we want to have a great sex life. But I don't know where to take those questions to, and it's just plainly awkward. Well, today we're sitting down with a licensed sex therapist named Emma Schmidt to bring these questions out into the open and have some great conversations together. So when we think about sex, one of the things we always hear about is that sex is not just physical. Communication. We hear that. But communication about sex is not natural. You go to work and talk about it. I don't. Mm-hmm. And I know men and women communicate differently. I know the parent conversation that we might have all had or not had was awkward. The teacher at school, it's awkward, and it's not a part of normal rhythm and conversation. So I want to have a great sex life with my partner. How do we talk about it? How does it become a normal part of the conversation? How do we start that?
Right. It is awkward. So go into the conversation knowing it's going to probably be very uncomfortable. What I think can be helpful is just to rip the Band-Aid off. We don't know where to start, but we want to do this together. So if we can think about, we're going to team up around this and we're going to just do it, as uncomfortable as it's going to be, I think is a great approach. You could even do something like setting the scene. Hey, this Friday, we're going to have that uncomfortable conversation. We're going to get some wine and light some candles, right. Maybe a board game afterwards, just to celebrate doing that. But in that conversation, what we're going to do is we're going to ask some really specific questions. We don't know what those questions are going to be, but I'm going to provide those to you. Great. So what can be uncomfortable is we're now talking about sex, but we don't know what to ask. Some questions that I think can be really helpful is, what do you like about sex? What do you fear about sex? What's uncomfortable sexually for you? What holds you back sexually? What has been your favorite sexual experience that we've ever had before? What is a fantasy that you have about me sexually? If I can start to get to know my partner and for him to get to know me, what that does is it builds emotional intimacy. And intimacy is knowing and being known. So if I can start to have and facilitate that conversation, what it does is it sets me up for having a really good physical sexual connection. Sure. Right? If I go straight into having a physical sexual connection, but I don't really know what my partner likes or wants, and he doesn't know what I like or want, it can fall flat and we can just be having performance sex, penis and vagina, potential orgasm, we're done. Right. But if he knows what I enjoy and we can create this playful, childlike funness about sex like God intended it to be, then we can start to understand how sex can be more intimate on an emotional level. And then the physical sex, I think, can reach a different level too. Sure. When we're engaged. What I think can be really helpful is having this conversation pretty frequently. So every other week is what I think would be helpful. My husband and I will do it every day, usually, just because that's who we are. But what I find is when couples will come in and have their first session, if I send them home with this sex conversation starter, many of them don't come back because they say, oh, well, we have all of our answers, right? Wow. So notice that your partner is the treasure to having a good physical sexual intimacy. Getting to know them on an emotional and intimate level, asking these questions is going to be able to provide what I think would be a really God-centered physical sexual intimate experience.